The massive research vessel Celestial Horizon trembled slightly as it glided through the obsidian darkness of deep space. Dr. Hypark sipped her lukewarm coffee, her eyes fixed on the holographic display dancing with infinite star patterns. She was the youngest xenobiological surgeon ever selected for deep space exploration missions, a prodigy who had spent years studying alien physiological systems. Suddenly, a sharp beeping interrupted the quiet hum of the spacecraft's environmental systems. The communication panel flickered with an unusual transmission signal, something definitely not standard human or known alien frequency. Hai leaned closer, her heart racing with anticipation. The transmission was fragmented, filled with strange, chirping sounds and electromagnetic pulses that seemed to carry a desperate message. Most crew members would have dismissed it as random space noise, but Hai's intuition told her something critical was happening. "Captain Kang," she called out, her voice steady but excited. "I'm detecting an unusual communication pattern from Sector 7 Gamma. It doesn't match any known communication protocols." Captain Kang, a veteran space explorer with weathered skin and sharp eyes, walked over to her station. His decades of space exploration had taught him to trust his team's instincts. "What do you make of it, Dr. Park?" Before she could respond, the transmission became clearer. It wasn't just random noise, it was a precise, albeit strange, distress signal. The language was complex, using quantum-based communication techniques that required advanced decryption algorithms. Ai's fingers danced across her holographic interface, rapidly running decryption sequences. Within moments, visual fragments started appearing, glimpses of an alien spacecraft, its metallic hull damaged and systems failing. The vessel looked unlike anything humans had encountered before, organic-looking, with curved surfaces that seemed to breathe and pulsate. "It's a biological-technological hybrid spacecraft," Hai muttered, her scientific curiosity piquing. "The technology suggests an advanced civilization far beyond our current understanding." The transmission revealed more details. The alien craft was experiencing a critical system failure, with life support rapidly deteriorating. Whatever civilization operated this vessel was experiencing a genuine emergency. "We need to respond," Hai declared, her voice filled with determination. "They're asking for medical intervention, but their communication suggests their medical understanding is fundamentally different from ours." Captain Kang hesitated. First contact protocols were complex, and rushing into an unknown situation could be catastrophic. But the desperation in the transmission was palpable. "You're the expert," he finally said. "What do you recommend?" Hai had been preparing for such a moment her entire career. Her research had focused on potential interspecies medical challenges, considering the vast biological diversity possible in the universe. This wasn't just a rescue mission, it was an unprecedented opportunity for scientific discovery. The Celestial Horizon's advanced propulsion systems engaged, moving with calculated precision towards the distressed alien vessel. External sensors began scanning the craft, revealing intricate details about its structure, energy signatures, and biological components. As they approached, the alien ship's exterior started displaying remarkable adaptive capabilities. Sections of its hull seemed to shift and realign, almost like a living organism responding to their proximity. It was beautiful and terrifying simultaneously. "Preparing first contact communication protocols," announced the ship's linguistic AI. "Quantum translation matrices are online." Hai watched in awe as the first visual communication link established. A being appeared, definitely not humanoid, but possessed an intelligence that was unmistakably sophisticated. Multiple sensory appendages, iridescent skin that seemed to change color with emotional states, and eyes that reflected depths of knowledge and current desperation. The alien's communication was a mixture of visual pulses, electromagnetic frequencies, and what seemed like emotional resonance. They were requesting medical assistance for what appeared to be a critical biological system failure. One thing was certain: this encounter would change everything humanity understood about life, technology, and medical science. End of Part 1. The alien vessel's interior was unlike anything Hai had ever imagined. Bioengineered corridors pulsed with a soft, almost breathing rhythm, walls that seemed alive with complex neural networks and luminescent pathways. Medical scanning drones carefully navigated the intricate spaces, their quantum sensors working over time to interpret the alien physiology. Commander J of the alien species, who called themselves the Kiro, lay on a biomechanical examination platform. His body was a marvel of biological engineering, multiple respiratory systems, interconnected organ networks that defied human medical understanding, and a physiological structure so complex it made human anatomy look like a simple mechanical design. The blockage is preventing critical life-sustaining processes. The ship's linguistic AI translated the aliens' communication. The message came through as a combination of electromagnetic pulses and emotional resonance that Hai could almost feel rather than simply hear. Hai's portable medical scanner worked overtime. Its advanced algorithms struggled to make sense of the aliens' internal systems. What appeared to be a simple blockage was actually a catastrophic breakdown of multiple interconnected biological processes. The Kiro's body wasn't just a single organism. It was more like a complex ecosystem functioning as a unified entity. "This is beyond anything in our medical databases," she muttered, zooming in on the holographic representation of the alien's internal structure. Multiple organ systems were interconnected in ways that defied conventional medical understanding. What would be a minor issue in human biology was a potentially species-ending crisis for the Kiro. The ship's medical AI began running simulations. Hundreds of thousands of potential intervention scenarios flickered across the holographic display, each one failing spectacularly. Traditional medical approaches were useless. The Kiro's biological complexity required something entirely different. Captain Kang watched from a safe distance, his decades of space exploration experience telling him this was no ordinary medical emergency. "What are we looking at, Dr. Park?" he asked, a mix of concern and scientific curiosity in his voice. Hai's mind raced. The blockage wasn't just a medical problem, it was a complex interplay of biological, technological, and quantum-level processes. The Kiro's body used technologies that blurred the line between living organism and advanced machine. She recalled her controversial research papers, the ones her colleagues had dismissed as too radical. Theories about adaptive medical interventions that could work across species barriers. This was her moment to prove everything she had theorized. The alien, Commander J, communicated through a series of color changes, electromagnetic pulses, and subtle body movements. Each gesture was a complex language of its own. Pain, desperation, and a strange sense of hope radiated from his being. Breakthrough moments in scientific discovery often come from unexpected places. Hai realized the solution wasn't about treating the blockage. It was about understanding the entire biological system as a unified adaptive network. Her portable quantum resonance medical kit began to adapt. Nanoscale intervention tools reconfigured themselves, learning from the alien's biological patterns. It was like watching a living system create its own solution in real time. "I'm going to need complete silence and total concentration," Hai announced to the crew. Her hands moved with a surgeon's precision, but her approach was anything but conventional. She was essentially rewriting the rules of medical intervention. The ship's medical bay transformed into a high-stakes laboratory. Every movement, every scan, every moment was a potential breakthrough or catastrophic failure. The fate of an entire alien species hung in the balance. Commander J's body began to respond to Hai's innovative approach. Biological pathways that had been blocked started to show signs of restoration. It was like watching a complex machine repair itself, with Hai as the guiding intelligence. The crew watched in absolute silence. This was more than a medical procedure. This was first contact, scientific discovery, and a potential turning point for interspecies understanding. As the final stages of the intervention began, Hai knew nothing would be the same again. Humanity had just taken its first real step into understanding the true complexity of life in the universe. End of Part 2. The medical bay transformed into a symphony of technological marvel and human intuition. Hai's hands moved with a dancer's grace, guided by quantum adaptive tools that seemed to breathe and think alongside her intentions. The nanosurgical kit was unlike any medical equipment in human history, a living technology that responded to her slightest thought. Commander Jay's body pulsed with complex energy patterns. Each movement was a language, each biological response a conversation between human innovation and alien physiology. The blockage wasn't just a medical problem, it was a complex puzzle that required breaking every known rule of medical intervention. "I'm creating a quantum resonance pathway," Hai explained to her assistant. Though she knew the complexity was beyond simple verbal description, the tools in her hands weren't just instruments, they were extensions of her scientific imagination. Holographic displays erupted with cascading data streams. Alien biological networks mapped themselves in real time, revealing intricate connections that human medical science had never imagined possible. It was like watching the universe explain its own most complex secrets. The ship's medical AI began running simultaneous simulations. Millions of potential intervention scenarios played out in microseconds, each one a potential lifeline or potential catastrophe. Captain Kang watched with a mixture of scientific curiosity and parental concern. Hai's breakthrough came from an unexpected place. She realized the blockage wasn't a simple obstruction. It was a complex biological communication breakdown. The Kiro's body was essentially a living, thinking ecosystem where every component communicated through quantum-level interactions. Her solution was revolutionary. Instead of traditional surgical intervention, she began to craft a quantum frequency restoration protocol. The nanotools began to vibrate at frequencies that matched the aliens' biological communication patterns. It was like learning a language and speaking it simultaneously. The medical bay filled with a soft, ethereal light. Commander Jay's body began to respond, not just healing, but literally reshaping itself. Biological pathways that had been blocked started to open, creating new channels of communication and healing. "We're not just treating a medical condition," Hai muttered, her eyes locked on the holographic displays. "We're teaching two different biological systems how to communicate." Unexpected complications emerged. The quantum intervention created cascading effects that no one could have predicted. Alien biological systems began to show adaptive responses that challenged everything known about medical science. The crew watched in absolute silence. This was more than a medical procedure. This was first contact at its most intimate level. Humanity was learning to communicate with an entirely different form of life, using medical intervention as a language. Commander Jay's body began to stabilize, but something more profound was happening. The quantum intervention was creating new biological pathways, essentially rewriting the aliens' physiological communication systems. Hai's hands moved with incredible precision. Each movement was a calculated risk, each adjustment a potential breakthrough. The nanosurgical tools seemed to dance, creating intricate patterns of healing and restoration. The ship's sensors began picking up extraordinary readings. The medical intervention was creating something entirely new, a hybrid biological communication system that bridged human and alien physiologies. "We're creating a new form of life," Captain Kang whispered, understanding the profound implications of what was happening. The medical bay became a crucible of scientific discovery. Biological systems that had been blocked began to open, creating new pathways of communication and healing. It was like watching evolution happen in real time. As the final stages of the intervention began, Hai knew she was witnessing something extraordinary. This was more than a medical procedure. This was humanity's first true step into understanding the complex languages of life in the universe. The quantum frequency restoration reached its peak. Commander Jay's body glowed with an otherworldly light, biological systems realigning, communication pathways reopening. Something magical was happening, a moment of pure scientific poetry. End of Part 3. The medical bay erupted with an explosion of soft iridescent light. Commander Jay's body transformed before their eyes, biological systems rebuilding themselves with incredible precision. Hai watched in a mixture of scientific awe and pure human wonder. quantum healing tendrils danced across the alien's body, reconnecting complex biological networks that had been on the brink of total collapse. Each pulse of energy was like a symphony of restoration, telling a story of survival and unexpected connection. His entire physiological structure is reconstructing itself, the ship's medical AI announced, its voice a calm contrast to the extraordinary event unfolding. Holographic displays showed intricate biological pathways reforming, creating new communication channels that defied previous understanding of medical science. Captain Kang leaned forward, decades of space exploration experience, unable to prepare him for this moment. The alien's body was doing something impossible, healing beyond traditional medical understanding, adapting in ways that challenged everything humanity knew about biological systems. Commander J's multiple sensory appendages began to move. Where moments ago they had been dormant and lifeless, now they pulsed with an extraordinary energy. The alien's communication systems, those complex electromagnetic networks, started to rebuild themselves. Hai's hands trembled slightly. She understood the magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't just a medical intervention. This was a moment of first contact, of genuine interspecies communication. Her innovative approach had done more than save a life. It had created a bridge between two entirely different forms of existence. The ship's environmental systems began to adapt. Specialized chambers reconfigured themselves, creating optimal conditions for the alien's recovery. It was like the entire spacecraft was learning, responding to this extraordinary medical miracle. "The quantum frequency restoration is complete," Hai announced, her voice a mixture of professional calm and barely contained excitement. "We're witnessing something unprecedented in medical history." Commander J's communication began to change. No longer were they fragmented electromagnetic pulses. Now they were complex, nuanced exchanges. The alien was literally learning a new way of communicating, a hybrid language that bridged human and Kiro understanding. Unexpected biological developments continued to emerge. The quantum intervention had not just healed the alien, it had essentially upgraded their entire physiological system. New sensory capabilities, enhanced communication networks, improved adaptive responses. The medical bay became a laboratory of living discovery. Each moment revealed new complexities, new possibilities of interspecies understanding. Hai realized she wasn't just a medical professional, she was a pioneer of a new form of scientific exploration. Captain Kang's communication console lit up. Incoming transmissions from Earth's scientific community showed growing excitement. Live data streams revealed the unprecedented nature of this medical intervention. "This changes everything," one transmission read. "First successful quantum-adaptive interspecies medical intervention in human history." Commander J's body continued its extraordinary transformation. Biological systems that had been blocked now flowed with incredible efficiency. What had started as a critical medical emergency was becoming a moment of evolutionary breakthrough. The ship's crew watched in silent amazement. This was more than a medical procedure. This was a testament to human potential, to the power of scientific imagination and compassionate intervention. Hai's innovative approach had done something remarkable. She had not just saved an alien life. She had created a new paradigm of medical understanding. The boundaries between species, between biological systems, were dissolving. As the final stages of restoration completed, Commander J's communication became clear. No longer were they fragmented signals, now they were complex, nuanced exchanges. A new language of understanding was being born. The medical bay glowed with an otherworldly light. Biological systems hummed with newfound energy. Humanity had just taken its most significant step into a broader, more complex understanding of life in the universe. Something magical had happened, a moment of pure scientific poetry, of unexpected connection. End of Part 4. The news spread like wildfire across galactic communication networks. What had begun as a desperate medical emergency aboard the celestial horizon had transformed into humanity's most significant scientific breakthrough. Hyde Park's name became synonymous with interspecies medical innovation, diplomatic channels from multiple alien civilizations began requesting detailed information about the quantum adaptive medical technique. The Kiro civilization in particular saw this as a turning point in their understanding of medical intervention and biological restoration. Commander J, now fully recovered, became an unexpected ambassador. His body carried the living proof of human medical brilliance, a walking, talking demonstration of scientific possibility. The quantum frequency restoration had not just healed him, but had given him enhanced biological capabilities that fascinated scientific communities across the galaxy. Research stations and interstellar universities started analyzing the medical intervention. Holographic conferences lit up with debates, simulations, and excited discussions. Humanity had proven something extraordinary, that compassion and scientific innovation could transcend biological boundaries. The celestial horizon became a symbol of hope. Its medical bay was now a sacred space of scientific discovery, where the impossible had become possible. Captain Kang found himself at the center of a galactic conversation, explaining how a simple human medical team had achieved what seemed unimaginable. HFY's quantum adaptive medical technique began transforming multiple scientific disciplines. Medical researchers discovered that the approach could be adapted to treat complex biological conditions in various species. What had started as a specific intervention was becoming a universal medical breakthrough. Alien civilizations started sending diplomatic missions to Earth. They weren't just seeking medical knowledge, they were seeking understanding. The quantum frequency restoration represented more than a medical technique. It was a new language of compassion and scientific collaboration. The Kiro civilization offered unprecedented scientific exchange programs. Research teams from different planets began collaborating, sharing knowledge that had previously been separated by biological and technological barriers. HFY found herself at the center of this new era of galactic understanding. Quantum medical research stations began popping up across multiple star systems. The technique that had saved Commander J was now being studied, adapted, and refined by the best minds in the galaxy. Humanity had proven its potential as a truly innovative species. Captain Kang watched with pride as his ship became a symbol of scientific diplomacy. The celestial horizon was no longer just a research vessel. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to human potential and compassion. Commander J's transformation became a living case study. His enhanced biological systems demonstrated the potential of quantum adaptive medical techniques. Scientists discovered that the intervention had not just healed him, but had essentially upgraded his entire physiological structure. Interstellar communication networks began broadcasting the story. Images of HFY's innovative medical intervention spread across billions of light years, inspiring scientific teams and showing the power of human creativity. The diplomatic implications were profound. Alien civilizations that had previously viewed humans as a young, somewhat primitive species now saw them as potential partners in scientific discovery. The medical breakthrough had changed the entire galactic perception of humanity. Research funding exploded. Governments and scientific institutions from multiple planets began investing heavily in quantum adaptive medical research. HFY found herself at the center of a scientific revolution that would reshape understanding of life itself. The Kiro civilization officially recognized HFY with their highest scientific honor, a rare acknowledgement that transcended biological and cultural boundaries. Her name would be remembered not just as a medical professional, but as a pioneer of interspecies understanding. Quantum medical research centers began establishing themselves across multiple star systems. The technique that had saved one alien life was now being studied as a potential solution for complex medical challenges faced by numerous civilizations. As the years passed, the intervention aboard the celestial horizon became more than a medical miracle. It was a moment that defined humanity's potential, a testament to scientific creativity, compassion, and the extraordinary possibility of understanding. Something magical had happened, a moment that would be remembered for generations, a story of how human innovation could bridge the most complex biological and cultural divides. End of Part 5.